What's going on, guys? Over here, and welcome to the reveal of Need for Speed Payback. That is the title of the upcoming Need for Speed game for 2017, releasing November 10th of this year. Absolutely awesome, and we finally got an official name, Need for Speed Payback, and today we're going to be kind of going through the trailer, breaking it down a little bit, seeing what the press release gives us in terms of info on the brand new game. It's a very awesome trailer with so many different moments to pause at, so it's going to be probably a little bit of a longer video actually for a trailer breakdown, but there's just so many different moments. So we're going to kick things off with the first shot and what looks to be maybe potentially one of our main protagonists' main cars that we start off with. And talking about the main protagonist in the game, we know from the press release, Need for Speed Payback has a single-player campaign that follows the exploits of a former street racer, Tyler Morgan. So after being double-crossed and forced into exile, it's time for payback. So, i.e. the name Need for Speed Payback. Tyler must rebuild his crew, win an impossible race, and bring down the House, the cartel that has a grip over the city's casinos, criminals, and cops. So that sounds pretty damn cool, and it kind of gives me a little bit of a hark back to kind of Carbon-esque sort of things. You know, we saw back in Need for Speed Carbon way back ago, one of my childhood NFS games, where there's like territories you had to kind of take over and win back the city, basically, Need for Speed Carbon. It's almost like that, where you've got this guy, Tyler Morgan, who's been outcast, and I'm assuming playing as him, I guess, and, you know, trying to form up a crew of his own and trying to take the city back. Talking about the city, the kind of main city we're going to be in is called Silver Rock, and it's in a kind of area called Fortune Valley. So, and from the trailer, we've been given a little glimpse of a few little scenery shots of this kind of Fortune Valley area. So you've got built-up city areas, but you've also got off-roading areas. So that's something that we didn't see in 2015 and would have definitely, you know, come up a treat. So they've got it this time, off-roading parts of the map. So very much a big expanse, different biomes potentially. So it's almost as I'm going to keep going back to it because it's kind of very, for me, definitely a lot of vibes from Carbon. You know, different areas of the city, different kind of regions to maybe kind of take over. You know, you had the canyons and then the main city. This time around, it's even better. It's not just kind of simple canyons that we got in 2015 back in Need for Speed. Now in Payback, we've got areas of actual off-roading, so you may need to strap on dirt tires, you know, to actually perform better. We may have dirt races, and as we go on into the actual press briefing, we can find out now finally there'll be different types of cars and classes that we'll want to build in this game. One of them will be race, obviously. We've got drifting, off-roading, drag, and runner. So definitely going to be a class where you're going to maybe want to strap on specifics for those events when you're going off-road. You have the, you know, the classic race and drift and drag as well. And then runner, which is quite interesting. Runner is kind of repackaged potentially from 2015, where we saw that was kind of maybe the outlaw class perhaps. Runner kind of suggests to me we're kind of, you know, obviously running away from the cops. And part of this game from the trailer seems to be also maybe part of the storyline will be getting these hot property cars into these trucks in the back of trucks, kind of illegally taking them across back into our, I don't know, our hideout or something as our crew kind of expands and builds. So that may be part of it, having to kind of get these cars away from the cops, do a kind of runner mission essentially, and get it to these kind of hideouts where we can eventually load them up onto trucks. Or the trucks may be part of, you know, part of the missions where we have to take down the crew, the House, the cartel that's taken over the city. Because you can see in the trailer, obviously we've got the Ford going after the truck, and then eventually gets slammed on basically and brake checked underneath in an overpass. But right at the beginning of the trailer, we've got cars being loaded into these trucks. I think the same similar truck that smashes through on a pedestrian car coming out of the tunnel, which by the way is a very, very awesome moment of the trailer. Absolutely awesome to see the amount of destruction in this game. And talking about the destruction, there's a later part in this where it's just a panning shot and you've got like 5 different cars, all, you know, fire on the ground, you've got tire marks everywhere, just so much destruction. So maybe suggesting that, you know, the map itself is very, very destructible, almost kind of like, you know, we know EA make Battlefield and they have maps that are very much kind of destructible, so maybe they're taking some inspiration from that and you can really do some damage to the actual surroundings, which was very much solid in Need for Speed 2015. You couldn't really do too much to kind of have a scratch on the map. And then as we go through the trailer, as I said, the kind of scene of us chasing the truck gets played out. Then we've got some lovely little panning shots of some drifting, chasing other people. Then we've got, again, more destruction, this kind of barrel on fire. Spark hits the BMW, and then the BMW absolutely takes one and gets literally wiped out by the barrel. So again, very interesting. We never had anything like that previously, where you could actually, knock off something that's catching on fire as a way to actually blow up opponents or potentially even cops, because we know cops are going to be a big feature in this game, a la the Runner class perhaps. And then there's a lot of different cars that have been kind of teased in the trailer. Got the Nissan 350Z, which was teased in one of the kind of teaser reveals a week before that needs to be tweeted out. We've got the Nissan Skyline, which was already revealed actually as the main kind of, looks like potentially box art for the game, because they opened up with that as the kind of reveal tweet yesterday when all the social channels went out for this teaser, for this main kind of reveal trailer. So potentially a lot of fans are going to be happy with a nice red Skyline as the main box art. But then this same shot just showcasing finally that light to day thing. So we are going to have daylight, which wasn't a thing back in Need for Speed 2015, which is a shame, because it really just made the game feel very, very dark. So we are going to have a full transition of weather, day to night completely, and you're going to get some nice dynamic weather and actual, transition from that entire 24 hours throughout the day. And then also behind the Skyline in this shot, you've got a few other kind of old bangers potentially, which is a line in the trailer as well, saying you can make any supercar out of kind of any old banger basically. So obviously, once again, customization is going to be a huge thing. Visual customization of your ride, just getting it how you want. Your garage has never looked better according to the press release, but deep down we all know that's what's under the hood. Win and buy the hottest aftermarket parts and craft the perfect driving machine is what exactly EA have talked about with the press release there. So once again, it's going to be at the forefront of this game, basically, ultimate customization, ultimate indulgence in what you want specifically, your tastes, whatever you want in your kind of foray of the garage. And I'm assuming, it looks like from other shots that have also been presented with this press release, that the garage is going to be a lot more expanded than it was in 2015. I think it was only 5 slots that we got in 2015, so that was a little unfortunate, because it did actually mean that pretty fast you had to keep on selling and trading your cars to actually have cars in your garage, and the ones you wanted or new ones you wanted to get. So finally now, that may not be such a burden. Keep your eyes peeled exploring Fortune Valley. You may also find abandoned cars that may become your new project. So that's kind of similar to what we've seen in Forza Horizon 3, where you can find these barn finds. So very cool that you can just explore Fortune Valley, which kind of says to me that Fortune Valley appears to be hopefully a much bigger map and just so much more intricate, that I would like to think that some cars you may not even find by yourself. It may be a case of you're going to have to kind of look online for kind of walkthroughs of where these cars are found potentially, or if you don't want to spoil it for yourself, you literally just won't know, and you might just find it after a couple of months of playing the game. Then we've got a few little teaser kind of marketing talk about Fortune Valley. It's an action-packed playground, race through the glamorous and gritty districts of Silver Rock City. So as I said, the main city, tear up the arid Liberty Desert. So that's going to be the main place for off-roading there. It looks like a desert kind of landscape, which is kind of cool. Drift your way up Mount Providence. So again, kind of a canyon vibe as well, which is very, very cool. So you have all these different biomes in Fortune Valley to play with, which is going to be absolutely awesome. And defy deadly drops, there you go, over Silver Canyon. So not only a mountain range, perhaps with, roads carved into them, an actual Silver Canyon, which I hope that you can actually drop through and severely damage your car, because that was always one of the things for me from Carbon, where you had those kind of pit drops where you go off and that's basically toast. Like, you've kind of failed that part of that race. You have to kind of restart it again. That was always awesome. In one of the shots, we've actually got an absolutely insane wheelie from one of the cars, where you can see literally the spitting flames kind of pushing the front of the car up. And then as we go through a few more screenshots, you can just get a little taste of the different customization options. You can get really awesome different spoilers, different ways to take at the rear end. You've got different actual body kits, obviously, as Need for Speed did in 2015, trying to go a bit more authentic as well, using actual real-life brandings, like Speed Hunter. I'm guessing also Rocket Bunny will be in there as well. And then once again, later in the trailer, we get more shots of, potentially, I'm guessing this is Tyler Morgan. And then once again, we get another shot of a female character, and then a third guy as well, who has a pretty damn awesome little t-shirt there with a kind of pug on a skateboard. And then he's kind of, again, looking to the side. So they're kind of trying to keep it a little bit of guesswork in terms of who our main kind of characters are going to be in the game, but it looks like this may be the start of your crew, so potentially we'll meet these characters later down the line. We may start off with Tyler, I'm not too sure. Perhaps maybe we'll start off with him not being exiled, and we'll maybe be able to play through that kind of whole scenario of him getting exiled, and then we'll have to fight our way back. And then we got some more awesome shots of different cars, very in stark contrast. We've got the absolutely awesome and gorgeous Pagani Huayra, and then we've got a really old banger. I can't tell what car this is based off, but a real old banger, so I'm guessing these will be the kind of ones where, you know, if you do want to, you can fix up a few kind of older kind of vintage cars. And here you can see it's off-road. This is the desert landscape again, and you can just see off in the distance, it just looks like a very big open desert, so it says a lot. Hopefully, I'm hoping the map can be at least about, I don't know, is it too much to ask for 4 times as big as the Need for Speed 2015 map? That would be pretty damn awesome in my opinion. And then we get a mysterious shot of a 4th person. Definitely not, I don't think, the same woman we saw from last time, but this time we don't get to see any of her face. So I'm guessing potentially, I don't know, I'm going to second guess maybe this may be part of the house, maybe one of the kind of the evil guys we have to actually deal with. And finally we get some awesome scenes of Tyler, I'm guessing once again in his Ford chasing the skyline, and then we've got finally those cops, obviously, which were, you know, there in Need for Speed 2015, but they weren't really that prominent. They weren't very clever in many ways in terms of chasing you and really actively chasing you, hounding you. So a final thing about the cops from the press release, the return of intense cop chases means the stakes have been even higher with helicopters and rhinos in their arsenal. You're going to have to push yourself and the car to your limit if you're going to try and evade them. So, straight away, rhinos and helicopters. So, that wasn't a thing in the last game, and that just screams to me more of a kind of like GTA 5 kind of 5-star cops, real big deal, whole city chase. You know, it's going to take you from one edge of the map to the other edge of the map, potentially, if you're really, really in the heat of it after a major kind of heist, potentially on the house and the cartel. Really, really sounds awesome. And just generally, mainly from the trailer, big vibe of just so many different types of cars. Like, there's something there for everyone. Like, personally, obviously, if you're not new to the channel, you know me, obviously, I do a lot of F1 content, so I will be really up for the kind of more racing class, kind of really high-end performing cars, or ones with a lot of grip. But definitely, there's a lot of variety in this trailer that I'm seeing, which there was variety, don't get me wrong, in the 2015 game as well, but it just seems like there's so much more emphasis now and so much visibly variety in this trailer compared to when you look back at the reveal trailer of 2015. It was very linear, and we didn't actually get much. Actually, we got a lot more this time in the reveal trailer for this game, which is good. It means that EA are potentially confident of this game and what they want to show, and the fact they're showing so much means they're positive about, you know, what they've got there. And also it means potentially there may be even more to reveal soon. I mean, we'll find out. Obviously, if you don't know, I'm going to EA Play in a couple of days time next week, so we'll see then. Hopefully I will have some early gameplay for you. Double down your wrists to run up rewards, nail speed style moments to bank up extra rep, which was a big part of the last game, you know, really getting your rep up there. So potentially that will be back, so you have to level up your rep, and that may kind of determine what parts you can get on the aftermarket, which is also a good way to kind of encourage players to obviously actually grind for it and actually grind for XP and kind of actually play the game fully and keep on playing it and coming back to kind of get those extra parts. So like the top end high parts, you may not be unlocked until you get a certain rep level, and then string together heaters for massive multipliers as well. So that again was a part of the last game as well, doubling up, so you get ×2, ×3. If you're doing really awesome things, you're going to go crazy nuts with the amount of rep. Push your limits to bank your winnings, or will you go bust? Also, ante up for side bets, challenges that raise the stakes in races. So pretty much sort of like pink slips effectively. Also just betting your money on side races as well, which is pretty damn cool. The thought that you can lose it all, and like if you put your best car on the line, you could lose it, which obviously is very gutting, but it makes it a lot more real. It means that you're not just going to get a car and it's there. You've got the car. It is actually something to it. You can put it on the line for an even bigger reward, and it makes that more sweet. It makes it more personal for you also to keep the car as well. So that's been my video on Need for Speed Payback's reveal. Obviously, compared to other YouTubers you may watch videos of this reveal, I'm not going to be as in tune with everything as they are, but my main speciality will be the gameplay. Once I can play play the game. I'll be really looking to hopefully get some awesome gameplay for you guys, get into some great races with these cars that EA play, and hopefully I'll be bringing you some awesome content from that. So do get subscribed again if you're new around here. A lot to take in there, but that's Need for Speed Payback. If you have enjoyed it, I would really appreciate you smash the like button, especially if you are a returning viewer from the channel and you do like Need for Speed. Obviously, this is not the kind of usual content I make, but hopefully I will be bringing a lot more of this style of content in the coming months. Obviously, I'm going to be part of the build-up of Need for Speed because I'm going there to play it early, so I would really appreciate you hitting that like button if you have enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and let me know anything I may have missed. Obviously, as I said, I'm not going to be as in tuned as maybe other kind of generic car YouTubers, so do let me know if I missed anything and kind of inform anyone else watching the video. But yeah, that's been it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the day, and I will see you guys next time.